the 9th of August 2022 elections.
Thank you. Your Honor, I was privileged to have been appointed as a chief agent for Wajir West constituency by the then governor candidate Ahmed Abdullahi G.
Chief agent
For Wajir West constituency.
And your next documents in support at page 55
Sure.
or page 57 of the affidavit.
Sure.
That will be your ID, your appointment letter, and your oath of secrecy.
Undoubtedly, yes.
Now, have you been previously involved in elections in Wajir?
Yes.
If you can again briefly tell the court in what capacity?
Thank you. The previous election, that is 2017, I was honored again to have been a chief agent for the same candidate, Governor Ahmed Jir, for the same constituency, Wajir West constituency.
So you've been a chief agent both in 2022 and also previously in 2017.
Yes, sir.
Now I want you to go to your affidavit at page 53.
Yes.
Can you confirm to this court that you signed the affidavit at page 53 and you signed it on 22nd of September 2022?
That's it.
Right. And therefore you confirm that together with your affidavit and all the annexures, you wish that they are tendered as your evidence in chief in this court.
That's in order. That's good.
All right, my lord, I will then hand over this witness for cross-examination. So you'll be asked questions by counsel for the petitioner and also by counsel for the third and fourth respondent. Then I'll come to clarify if there's any issue that is arising.
That's in order.
My lord, the third and fourth respondents have to go first because they're on the same side with the first and second, so that if there are any issues they raise, I'll be able to cover them in my cross-examination, and that's the rule when we do election petitions.
My lord, I would like it on record that the third and fourth respondent are not on the same side with anyone.
As the respondent.
They are a neutral party. That will be Mr. Noda for the third and fourth. Follow the issue that I raised here in the affidavit. There is no harm with Mr. Issa coming before me. Ideally, he can cross-examine the witness, and I can further cross-examine the witness in case I have any issues that I feel that is not clear in the witness's affidavit, and then the first respondent's counsel can do the exam after that. I think that would be a faster way of doing things.
We have been down this road so many times. In this petition, the land defense for the first and second respondents and the third and fourth respondents are opposing the petition. So, my lord, in terms of equality of arms, even when we're in the Supreme Court, the respondents who are on one side would go first, and then the petitioner would go second. And this is actually that is a practice in all the other election courts. So IBC need to cross-examine the witness And then I go last in terms of cross-examination, so that if there are any areas that they have covered that I want to cross-examine, because they will elicit some answers that are not in his affidavit, that I would be denied the opportunity of going over. So they need to go first, and because ordinarily, although they're independent, they have taken the same position of opposing the petition, not in terms of deciding, but they are on the same side. So they have to go first, then I come last before Mr. Monter examines. And it's a standard procedure. Mr. Monter can confirm that.
Do you have anything to say on that? On the report that the issue is?
Lord, I believe they are cross-examining. It's not an examination in chief. So, petitioner should go first.
That each respondent is separate, and the issue is between the petitioner and each of the respondents. So when a witness, any respondent testifies, it is the petitioner to choose to examine on what that witness evidence is on record. The petitioner starts.
I'm quite happy to start. I'm quite happy to start. Assalamu alaikum. I have a number of questions for you. You have told the court when we started that you are the chief agent in 2017, and in the last in the recent election held on the 9th of August. Is that correct?
That's in order.
Okay. By way of background, what do you do?
Thank you. I think what I do is quite detailed.
Just my profession. Just business. Are you employed?
I am a trained auditor,
Auditor.
a qualified accountant, and a finance expert.
So you're in finance.
Apparently, yes.
Apparently. So you're not in finance. So background in finance. I can say background in finance, but a trained auditor. Is that correct?
Yes. With an investment on stock market understandings.
Auditor by trade.
He was not asking for your qualifications, if I understand you well. He was saying, what do you do?
Yeah, that was my question. But if you want to tell me you're in
No,
finance,
no problem.
no, I'm happy with that.
I'm in finance, but you are just an MCO and MP.
I'm not anything I want to do.
So you're in private employment?
Apparently, yes.
In the accounting sector.
Because that I am a trained auditor and a qualified accountant, I happen to have a consulting firm, and I'm the managing partner at Fortune HS Consulting.
Okay.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Thank you.
Now, when I look at your letter of appointment, just to clarify, were you the chief agent?
Yes, I was.
Or were you the chief, or were you the tallying agent?
I was the chief agent.
The chief agent
Yes, sir.
for Honorable Ahmed Jir.
Yes.
Ahmed, were you trained in 2017 and were you trained in 2013?
As an agent?
Yes, as an agent.
Yes.
Are you conversant with the electoral process?
Indeed, yes.
So you're not, did you train your agents?
Yes, we did.
You, I'm asking.
Yes, I did.
Or you're the one who trained them, or were they trained by Honorable Ahmed Jir?
We trained them ourselves.
You as the chief agent. How many chief agents did Honorable Ahmed Jir have?
For each constituency, we had one.
For Wajir, I'm talking about Wajir West.
Wajir West, I was the chief agent.
Uh-huh.
Then, of course, at each of the polling stations, we had respective agents.
Those are polling
agents, rather.
Okay. Did you have a tallying agent?
Yes.
For the
At the
tallying
tallying center, yes.
Okay, so there was a tallying agent in charge of that. One or more than one?
I was the tallying agent. That's why I'm the chief agent.
Or you're
Because,
both chief agent and tallying agent, so they're different, you're not?
Allow me to refer you to the appointment letter
Mhm.
in which the then governor candidate mentioned that he had appointed me as at the tallying center. That is, you see, GPTC is the headquarter for the constituency. That is
That's
where
GTC's group.
Giliftu Pastoral Training Center
Okay.
is the
Yeah, no,
headquarter for the
that
entire
doesn't matter.
is the headquarter for the entire constituency,
Yes.
implying that as planned by IEBC, the results and the data from the respective polling stations are amalgamated at that point.
So you are both a chief agent and the tallying agent for Honorable Ahmed Jir.
I was the chief agent. This chief agent is the same as well as the tallying agent.
Now, look at your acceptance. Let's start from there.
Okay.
Page 56.
Yes.
Your acceptance says you are
Page
56. Your acceptance, this is, I believe this is from the ODM, could have been a mistake by the party, says that I, Ahmed Hussein Mohammed, accept the position of polling counting agent and will abide by the rules set forth in the IEBC agent's manual.
Correct.
Was that a mistake?
It wasn't. Allow me to explain this. You see, I am signing that in reference to the earlier indicated appointment, meaning that I was a tallying clerk, I was a tallying agent, which is equivalent of accounting agent at the tallying center, GPTC. I had nothing to do with the respective polling stations.
Or your accounting, what were you counting at the tallying center? I thought both are counted at a polling station.
By that, what I meant is that I was collating together the respective data that I was getting from the agents at the polling station.
Also, you have conversant with the process at the tallying center. We'll come to that. I just wanted you to confirm. I don't want us to, I don't want to continue. You are chief agent. My question was, are you trained?
Yes.
Are you conversant with the rules and regulations?
Yes.
Because I want to spend a bit of time there,
Yes.
both at the polling station and particularly at the tallying center. Are you conversant?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, just by way of, how many documents have you read? Have you read the petition,
Yes, I did.
the witness affidavits,
Yes, I did.
and have you read the response by IEBC, the third and fourth respondents?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you. So it's fair to say you're conversant with the position taken by IEBC as well as what is in the petition, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Now, how many agents did you have in Wajir West?
We had 130 here.
How many police stations? There are 130 police stations in Wajir West?
No, they are not.
How many are there?
We have 102 polling stations.
102 police stations. But you had
So
130.
we had 102 agents, equivalent to the number of polling stations we had. 102.
Or not 130.
So
That's
that's
okay. No problem. I believe that is just misspoke. So you had an agent in each and every polling station, is that correct?
Yes.
Sorry, let me take some note.
Take your time.
What time will it take? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you've been here long this week and last week with Mr. Mwanza in a few petitions. Turn to paragraph 19. I want to start there. The affidavit. No, paragraph 19, sorry. Paragraph 19 of 19. Paragraph 19, page 52. You say it is not true that voters were not identified via the King's kits. I am aware, based on my own observation of the voting process at polling stations and from hourly reports I received from agents we deployed in Wajir County, that King's kits were used to identify voters across Wajir West constituency. Is that your evidence?
Yes.
Okay, I have a few questions for you.
Could you please finish the statement if you don't mind?
Sorry?
Could you please finish the statement?
I'll ask you everything about that paragraph. I'm starting with the first paragraph. The first sentence. You want me to read the last sentence?
If you don't mind.
Instances?
If you don't mind.
I don't mind. In instances where voters' biometrics could not be deciphered or could not be identified, the IBC had complementary mechanism to identify voters. That's what you want me to read?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. No problem for that. How many polling stations did you visit?
I visited around 10.
10.
Yes.
Would you be kind enough to identify them?
Yes.
Please.
You
don't mention them in the affidavit, is that correct?
Yes.
So would you be kind enough to identify them?
I'm a registered voter at Wajir Girls
Wajir
to
Girls?
start with.
Yes.
That's where I voted.
Wajir Girls Secondary, which stream?
Wajir Girls Secondary School, stream 1.
Stream 1.
So I happen to have visited the other two streams as well.
As 2 and 3?
Yes, 2 and 3.
Okay.
I visited Wagala, both secondary and primary polling stations,
Wagala Primary?
and secondary as well.
How many streams in Wagala Primary?
1.
Okay. Secondary?
Secondary we have 2.
Secondary. Okay. Those are 6.
If you don't mind, I can do that for you. From
No, I have no problem.
Sure.
I have no problem. You can refresh your memory. Just identify what you're reading so that the judge knows what is refreshing your memory.
I can do
That's the.
Wagala primary.
What is that you're reading?
This is my son. Basically, the
No,
network
it's okay.
stations.
I'm just asking what is it?
Summary
So instead
of polling stations in Wajir West constituency.
Okay, that's fine. So,
So, Wagala primary,
yes. You said, I think Wagala Secondary, Stream 1,
Yes.
and Wagala Secondary, Stream 2. I'm there.
Yes.
I'm at Wagala Secondary, Stream 2.
Then there's Mau Mau.
Mau Mau, is that primary? Or is it
It's
called
called Mau Mau, yeah, primary.
Mau Mau primary, yes.
Then Wagala secondary I mentioned.
Yeah.
Then I went to Makaro. That is,
Makaro?
Makaro, M-A.
Makaro primary?
Also primary.
Yes. Sorry, it's secondary, sorry.
Makaro
secondary.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also visited Bahati Final.
Bahati.
How many?
They're already at 8. But Makaro only had one street, the second. Let's talk, I can call it the center, no problem. Bahati primary was at 8. And I've counted other than the streets.
Then I was fortunate to have visited some stations in Giriftu Primary and on Khalif Girls Secondary.
And
Honorable
Khalif
Girls.
Honorable Khalif.
Secondary school.
Yes.
Okay. Those are the ones you visited personally. Okay. And then you say, so your evidence in paragraph 19, you only observed the polling in this 19 polling, this 10 polling stations, is that correct? You can only speak about these 10 polling stations in terms of what you observed.
See, what I mentioned is from what I observed as well as the hourly report that I was getting.
No, that's fine. I'm coming to the hourly report. I'm asking about what you observed.
Sorry.
I want just to limit what you can speak to. So you only visited these 10 polling stations, is that correct?
Yes.
So you can only testify about these 10 polling stations about what you observed.
I think I would refer you to law of agency.
No.
We had, you see, we had agents. We had agents and this. So the agents were my eyes. So what they saw is included our eyes.
I'm no problem with that. You're the chief agent. But don't refer me to the law of agents because there I'll get you lost. Now, just confirm, because it's a little bit like more arcane than that. I'm just asking you a simple question. You just can testify about this 10 about what you observed, is that correct? The rest, you received reports.
From eye to eye, yes.
Yes, that's fine. That's all I'm asking. Now, you talk about the hourly reports from your agents you have deployed, the 102. I want to ask you a question. Did your agents from your training have a checklist
Yes.
prepared by ODM where they were to record all the incidents that occurred in the polling stations
Yes, we had checklist.
and diaries by your party, is that correct?
Yes.
So for all these 102, just talk, as the chief agent, how many of those diaries and checklists or reports have you attached to your affidavit?
There were no needs to attach because
No,
they
not asking
did
whether
not
there's a
show
need.
any.
How many have you attached to your affidavit? We'll come to the need. Don't worry. Don't answer what I'm going to ask.
None.
None, thank you. But you confirm at the time you read the petition, you had these reports, is that correct?
Which
And
report?
from your agents, we call them hourly reports.
Yes.
And the ones they actually gave you at the end of the voting, is that correct? Throughout the, now, have you seen how many polling stations have been referred to in the petition?
Yes.
Now, do you have a copy of the petition there?
Yes, I do. I
Time.
have to the petition. This is my affidavit.
No, affidavit will come to your affidavit. I asked you whether you had read the petition, you told me you had read it.
Yes, I did.
Do you have a copy with Mr. Amonza?
I'm not ready for now.
You? No, he'll give it to you because I'm asking questions. I know you don't have it there, that's what I'm asking. So, on the issue of cases,
Yes.
paragraph 34 at page 14 has set out at page 17 the polling stations where the petitioner complains about the discrepancy between the Kinskit and what was reported, page 17. Because you are the chief agent for Wajir West. Had you read that?
Yes, I did.
How many polling stations are set out? From page 17, Wajir West constituency, you've seen the polling stations? Up to page 19, is that correct?
Yes, these are 23 police stations.
23 polling stations, okay, thank you. So 23 polling stations, paragraph 34. Now turn to paragraph 48, sorry, and up to 50 on supervised voting using the Kinskit. Had you seen that?
Taking a look, which paragraph?
Paragraph 50, 48 is there. Let's start 48. You know, you start with paragraph 48 at page 28 of the petition. And paragraph 50. Have you read that complaint on supervised voters?
So, you're asking whether I read.
No, you remember we started from whether you have read the petition, the responses by the IBC as well.
Yes, I did.
Now I'm asking you, you're saying paragraph 50, and I'm showing you the polling stations identified at paragraph 50.
So we seem to be reading from different screens. Allow me to get it clear.
Are you reading the petition
I've asked you to read paragraph 50
of the petition?
of the petition at page 29.
You have that one?
I can show you 29.
I think it ends at 47, paragraph 47.
Then that's not complete.
That's the petition. You're saying it ends at?
What's it? Paragraph 47.
Let me see. The affidavit or the petition?
It is the petition we are looking.
It's not there.
This is the affidavit.
This is page 29.
This is the affidavit.
Commander, are you able to help?
Yes,
Why the
He's
difference?
assisting.
Melody Senate.
Oh, it is there.
So we found but the page is there. Sorry. Ahmed, are we together?
Yeah, sure.
So, that is the point that I'm asking. You have read that?
Yes.
Kindly look at the polling stations set out in that complaint. Could you kindly confirm to the judge whether those are in Wajir West? From Arbajahan Primary, Adanwawele, that's off to the first page, up to Kubesuru, at page 29.
Yes, there.
Okay, Kalavalif, at page 30.
Yes, there.
All these are in Wajir West constituency.
Correct.
Now, let me ask you the questions now. Just stay there. You said you received hourly reports from the voters. You have not responded to this complaint in the petition. How many of these polling stations was there supervised voting? Because you have read your reports from all your agents. In how many of these polling stations was there supervised voting?
I might not be able to give you one-on-one. However,
Yes.
Yes, indeed, there were some supervised votings in some of the polling stations.
Now, you had told me to read the whole statement in paragraph 9. Please just tell the judge, what is your understanding of supervised voting through the Kim's Gate?
Okay, my understanding of this is in the event that a voter will not be able to be identified by the Kim's Gate,
Yes.
then the electoral body had come up with a way to help these specific voters get supervised and allowed to exercise their democratic rights.
Also, your understanding is that who would then assist them? Would they use the Kim's Kit or would they use the printed copy of the register? Because those are two different options.
Okay, you see, when a voter walks in
Yes.
and for whatever reasons the fingerprints fail to be cognized.
So let's go through that. The voter is identified through biometrics.
Exactly.
So the Kim's Kit, they put their fingerprint and then the details come up. If that fails, what happens?
What happens is the respective police station officers,
Yes.
that is the POs,
Yes.
would have the option to identify this specific voter
Yes.
that has a challenge through the alphanumeric model.
Alphanumeric model. And what is it? How is that done?
The specific voter will be asked to produce their identity documents.
Yes.
The details, or rather the ID numbers, will be keyed into the Kim's Kit.
Yes.
In the event that this voter is indeed registered in this specific station,
Yes.
the details will be seen on the respective screens.
It will pop up on the
It
Kim's
will
Kit.
pop up, yes. Subsequent to this, the voter will be allowed to proceed and vote,
Yes.
but on condition that the Form 32A is as well filled.
So thank you. So from your training and from your experience as a chief agent, any supervised voter required the presiding officer to authenticate that by filling the form showing that he had authorized that voter to vote because their biometrics could not be identified. Is that correct?
Undoubtedly, yes.
Thank you. Now, was that observed in all the polling stations, that process you outlined?
Yes, indeed, yes.
And there was a third method where if that ID card or alphanumerically the documents could not be, the image did not pop up, what were they meant to do? Are you aware?
The other, as advised, of course, by the electoral body, now the other option is the situation whereby the respective voters will be asked to pose for a photo
Yes.
whilst holding their ID cards.
Yes. And that image will be captured in the Kim's Kit.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you have said in paragraph 19 that in instances where the voters' biometrics could not be deciphered, the IBC had complementary mechanism to identify voters. Are these the two that you have identified? The one of the alphanumeric keying in and the one of taking the image and looking at a copy of the printed register, is that correct?
Yes.
And then they will be allowed to vote.
Yes.
Now, my question was, you had reports from your agents as a chief agent, is that correct?
Right.
Now, you've seen the complaint on paragraph 50 about this extraordinary usage of supervised voting in these polling stations. Is that correct?
Yes.
Kindly confirm where you have responded to that in your affidavit.
Thank you. This response has been exhausted by the first respondent, in which he had attached all the respective forms for those voters who were assisted.
The first respondent.
Yes. That is the Governor being
Ahmed Jim.
petition, yes.
Okay. The forms, you have his affidavit? All you are reading is that he produced the forms where all these people were
In
assisted.
his response, yes,
Okay. just give me a copy of the?
Or it's for ABC, I think either of them
I
has
don't
done
know.
this.
We can start with the first respondent.
Yeah.
Is it? You said Ahmed Jir responded, just identify where that has been responded to?
Because I had seen copies of those forms attached for the voters that needed assistance.
So those ones are in the form. I think that is in the IBC response, not in your response, to be fair to you.
Thanks a lot. I see it.
Okay.
Yeah. Only the IBC.
Now, in whose affidavit has that been produced? Are you alright? Have you read it? If you're not read it, it's okay.
No, I read it. That
Okay.
is IBC responsible.
Turn to page 152. I think that's where the affidavit that introduces them is.
Of IBC.
Noor Gedi Arale. Do you know who Noor Gedi Arale is?
Yes.
Who's that?
I know the first two names. Noor Gedi is the then returning officer for Wajir West constituency.
Yes. Okay. That is the returning officer for your constituency. So it's somebody you know.
Yes.
Okay. These documents that you are referring to are referred to in paragraph 12. Is that correct?
Paragraph 12.
Okay, yeah, that affidavit, no, it's at page 154. I just wanted to confirm that we're talking about the same thing, is that correct? And then I ask you the question.
Page
154, it's on the right, 154. I don't know if that one is the one that's paginated. Well, that's not. But paragraph 12, that one is not paginated. Let me show you mine. The judge is paginated on the right. See,
I think it's 154.
you have 154 on the right?
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's the same page.
Noor Gedi, yes, yes.
Oh, you've seen that, right? This is 154. I know it's not the same. But it's 154 this time. That's the same page. And paragraph 12. Yeah, so it says. Okay. I just want to. I just confirm that it has produced, that has been produced by IBC, is that correct? The key supervisor validation form.
Yes.
Now, they have, these documents run from page, yours note, from page 165, and the polling station, I'll just identify this, we can start with the first one, that is Makaror Primary School, you can see that? The very first copy of that form.
Yes.
Yeah, so this one is confirmed where I indicated below, identified alphanumerically by search of the electronic voter identification device and not validated using the supervised mode in respect of the above polling station. So that is the form you told the judge about, is that correct?
Could you please read that statement again?
I'm saying, if you read the description of that form, any of those validation forms you have seen before,
Yes.
not in the affidavit, I'll go to the annexures at the end of that document.
Yes.
Those ones at
Yes.
the end. If you read this is a KIMS-KIT supervisor validation form.
Exactly.
This is the one in your training was meant to be filled by the presiding officer. Is that correct?
This is the one that was filled at the presiding
At the polling stations.
polling station.
And then it is to confirm the particulars for all those who identified as numerical. So I can ask you my questions.
Yes.
Okay. How many polling stations have you seen for this? I know this is true. Was this done in all the polling stations in Wajir West constituency where the supervisor mode was done from your reports?
For any station, polling station in which there were challenges of voter fingerprint identification, indeed these forms were done. Do I repeat?
Yeah, please.
I said
In each polling station?
for each and every of the polling stations
Yeah.
in which there were challenges to do with voter identification
Yes.
biometrically,
Yes.
indeed these forms were done by the
Presiding
election
officers.
body.
Okay. Now, my question was, in this paragraph 52, paragraph 50, I don't know if you got my question. For Wajir West, you are the chief agent. You said you had hourly reports. What did you, was this confirmed that these were the supervised voters in those polling stations, my question? These numbers?
You see, the hourly reports were with respect to how things were going on at the respective polling stations.
Yes.
And you see, if a biometric fails, then the alternative that has been devised by the electoral body is used. There was not any need for the respective polling agents to complain that things are not going on well.
My question, I don't think you got my question. I'm asking you, we have set out in the petition with the polling stations where we are saying there was disproportionately high supervisor validation. My question, you said you are receiving, you are defending in paragraph 19 that everything was done in accordance with what the procedure you are saying. Is that correct?
Yes.
My question is, in your reports, the one you received and you considered before doing this affidavit, was that process undertaken in those polling stations in paragraph 50?
Undertaken by the IEBC?
IEBC, yes.
Yes, IEBC did it as planned.
As planned,
by themselves.
Okay, thank you. And these forms were filled, is that correct?
Yes, in conformity with the election regulations.
Okay, thank you. And you have seen those forms. Now, my question, and I can give you the list, in how many forms from polling stations have those forms been produced?
For each and every polling station in which there were challenges, the electoral body has produced and attached the supporting documents.
Okay, thank you. So they've done that. IBC will come, don't worry, so I can't, it's only fair for me to ask you what you can answer. But from your agents, this was done, is that correct?
Absolutely, yes.
And their forms were there. So 2 questions. This process, do you know when you observed it, how long it was taking? The supervisor mode assistance? Per voter, on average?
I presume, on average.
Did you see it being done?
Yes, I saw some being done.
Yeah, how long was it taking?
I think on average, 5 minutes was sufficient.
Five for one voter to go through the alphanumeric.
To assist our voter.
Okay. And you've seen the numbers. At a place like Kara, you have seen the number of voters who are assisted through that process? Just down to paragraph 50? It was 276 voters.
That is true. Which page, maybe?
Page 29, the same 29. Just don't move from 29 of the petition. Just those paragraphs. I just want to ask you one or two polling stations. That was Kara had 276, Adanawale had 134.
276.
Who are supervised, yeah.
276 or 176?
276, my lord, page 29.
Yes.
If you're taking 5 minutes, those 276 would take quite a number of minutes, is that correct?
Yes.
The same thing with Adanawale, if you calculate times 5 times 1 is 20, almost, you can just check. But for Kara, it's 1,380 minutes, which translates to 23 hours, just to assist those 176, if on average, it took 5 minutes.
I meant 5 minutes on the higher side. I did not mean, I mean the others who will be
That was
quick,
average, and others will be slower.
will take a minute or so.
So others will take 6 or 7 minutes. Is that
Not
true?
necessarily. No.
Okay, but on average 5 minutes will take a disproportionate. The question is that process. Now my question is actually just slightly different. So these forms from your training, where would they be kept at the end of the day? If at the end, will they be locked up in the ballot box? Or would they be available for scrutiny?
They'll be available for scrutiny.
So these are not
and
locked
they
up
will-
in the ballot box?
And they will be locked up in the ballot box.
For which ballot box? There are 6 elections?
I mean, for respective candidates, the governors will be done in the governor's box. The president will be done in the president's box.
So, just look at the form.
Maybe I lost your question. Could you please come back?
I'm saying, are these forms that IBC has produced, are they kept with the election material for a particular election, or is it in the 7? Remember, there are 7 boxes.
Yes.
There's the one for 6 elections, for presidential all the way to senator.
Yes.
Those are 6, and
Yes.
those ones are sealed at the polling station. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then there's the 7th one that is normally each and everywhere the other material is stored. Is that correct?
Yes.
From the training, because you're the chief agent.
So yes,
Will this be on the 7th or in one of the other 6?
this will be the 7th.
In the 7th. So they're available for verification. Is that correct?
I think that can be confirmed by the election board, not myself.
So they're in the 7th box. That's what I'm saying. But these forms are meant to be filled. Is that correct? From
Yes,
the training.
yes, yes.
Okay. So you do not know the number that was identified through this process as set out in paragraph 50 from your own records.
I think I will repeat again. For each of the stations that voters needed guidance, forms respectively were filled, and that they were backed up by the election board.
Okay, thank you. And you've seen the forms that have been produced. Do you know how many polling stations those forms? If you don't, you know.
I can count them once again, but I do not have the numerical figures.
Oh, you do not. No, you've not gone through them. Not a problem. There.
I did go through the entire report.
Yeah. Roughly, there was I think 7 polling stations out of this what you said out here, and I can just identify them for you. But the forms are over 145, I think, but the polling stations are few. There are 7. Only 7 out of the ones identified. And I can give you the names. You can just verify this is Makaror. There is Martha Primary. There's Kurman Center. Is that correct? Is Kurman a center or a primary school?
Is that paragraph 50?
I'm saying the ones IBC has produced in answer to that complaint. And then there's Kubay Surur. Is Kubay Surur in Wajir West?
Yes.
Okay. And lastly, at the Bohol Market, they're the same ones. So,
Okay.
so and lastly, I think there was Kar and Adanawali. Is that correct? Those are 7. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Only 7 polling stations. Is that true?
That's true.
That those forms only restrict to 7 polling stations.
I said earlier, I did not count the forms one on
Thank
one.
you.
So
Thank you. Let's move on. So the other question is, when there's a different form that I received, introduced yesterday in court, where the printed copy of the register is used, the 32A as we know it under the regulations, which is slightly different from the supervised mode. In your training, even this form where the printed copy of the register is used is meant to be used. Is that correct?
yes.
And this is the one where the photo is taken. Is that correct?
Right.
And the photo of that voter is in the Kimskin. Is that correct?
Right.
All right. Thank you. If there's a difference between the forms identified biometrically and the ones that have been used, what you're calling the alternative mechanism,
So you're saying that the photo
is taken when he actually understands the process. The third method is when the details don't come up in the KIMS kit and they have to look at the copy of the printed register. And then he said it and it's correct. A photo has to be taken of the voter and this form.
but you said the photo is also in the KIMS.
No, yeah, I was asking you now, after it's taken, it's stored in the KIMS kit. After it's taken. Because they take the photo using the KIMS kit, is that correct? Yes, sir.
Your Lordship, I think Mr. Issa will defer to my witness to come to ask him those questions, because some of those facts might not be the true position of what the process is. So I think I will advise that question that he refers to when the CRO comes here to explain this. And that's all.
Yes, but I'm fair to the witness, he said he understood the process. So I just want to, yeah, we can proceed. Thank you, my Lord. So that, and this form 32A is also filled from your training, is that correct?
I think we seem to be digressing a bit.
No, I never digress when I'm asking. I'm doing cross-examination. Trust me, I know where I'm going with my questions.
If you don't mind, like the council has just intervened, could you please be specific to what will be relevant to my jurisdiction at that point in time?
You are the chief agent. Everything I ask you about Wajir West is relevant. Trust me.
But
If you do not know, say you do not know. The relevance is for the court to decide. I ask the questions. Is that correct?
But as I think as to the responsibility of IBC, it will be beyond my
I've not asked you about the
understanding.
responsibility of IBC.
No, what he is asking you is based on what you said, that you are trained. But if you don't know something, you're going to become diminished what is of an expert in sure you are not sure.
Yeah, and that would be a fair answer, to say. Well, I just want to just confirm. I just want to show you the affidavit so that I can finish with you for your polling station. You said what your secondary stream 2? I want to show you the further affidavit.
I said it's stream 1.
Stream 1, sorry, I apologize. Let me just confirm if that's the same one.
What you said?
Yes.
Wajir Girls Secondary School.
Wajir Girls?
Secondary School.
It's the same. Are there two different institutions? It's Wajir Girls Secondary. And that is stream 2. I just want to confirm. Stream 1. I just want to confirm if that. Let me just confirm if that is the one that the house has got. I just want to show him the stream 1 of 3. There were 3 streams in that secondary school, is that correct?
Yes.
You have your forms. Kindly turn, you have your forms in your private card. Just turn to the results declaration form. That page. You should go, I can show you the stream 1. Just confirm for the judge, the number of registered voters in that the number of votes cast was 364?
Yes.
It was 364. And the deciding officer was Hassan?
Yes.
I think Abdul Muhammad, is that correct? I cannot see it.
I can see that.
Yeah, so that is what was Hassan Abdul. I'd just like to show you what Dr. Hassan, the petitioner, I think you in court when he was testifying today and was asked a question. I just want to show you so that the total votes shown there is 364, is that correct? In the form 37A, sorry, I want to finish with this for this point, this part. And now look at the copy of the image that was produced by my client at page, in your affidavit that will be page 50. Just read the page. 61.
Image of what?
Of the summary of the statistics. Just look at that. I just want you to look at them side by side. Yeah, so if you look at the registered voters in our polling station is 522, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, look at that image. Hassan Abdul is indicated as the close. You can see date and time remarks at the close on the 9th of August as 17:51:48.
Yes.
How many voters were verified total?
What I see is 349.
349.
Yes.
And in the form 3764, is that correct?
Yes.
So
I think you are seeing how many? 349.
Yes.
And in form 37 is 364, is that correct?
Yes.
With, well, of course there was one stray ballot, but that is the indicated figure, 364. So there's a difference between these two in terms of what was identified to the Kimskit and what is in the form 37A, is that correct?
I think, my lord, the council seems to be losing the plot here.
I never lose the
Simply
plot.
because-
My friends can tell you.
He seems
I
to be
never
losing
lose
the
the
plot here simply because he's referring me to a document that has been produced by his client, which I cannot authenticate the source, the validity, and the integrity of this image.
I'm not asking you to authenticate any integrity. I'm only asking you to read figures. Do you have a problem reading the figures?
I cannot tell whether it is real or
That's okay.
imagined fabricated.
No, don't worry about that. That's your advocate's will. Is it, are the numbers the same? IBC will do that. You said IBC will do that.
I think as to what I can confirm, my lord,
Yes.
Form 37A clearly indicates that we had 522 registered voters
Yes.
and 364 had cast their vote.
So this form, you are saying you can't, in that form when it was being filled, you were not there, is that correct? You were given that form as well?
I was there because my agents were there.
No, that's fine, your agents were there. I'm saying you were not there to see it being filled.
I was there because my agents
Your
were
agents were
there.
there. So your agents were there when the Kim Street was closed, so you cannot say you are not there when the Kim Street was closed.
My agents, I cannot see any validation that the Kingsley is sourced from my agents.
Does your agent sign anywhere on the Kim Street?
They don't.
Precisely, who does the closing on the Kim Street?
I think then that as to the validation of this
Just
document,
answer my question. Who does the closing of the Kim Street? The presiding officer, is that correct?
the electoral body.
Is that correct? Have you seen any affidavit sworn in response to that document?
I presume the
There is an
electoral body
affidavit.
must have done that.
If you've not read it, it's not. IDC have not controverted and not said that is not their document.
I cannot validate that. It's,
That's okay, I'm just telling you, IBC has not, I'm just asking you to read the numbers. If you can't enough just to read the numbers. The other issue, don't worry, we'll deal with it. There's a difference, is that correct? From what you're reading.
I think with all fairness, my lord, I will restrict myself to
If you do
Form
not know,
37A. I wrote an email that I cannot validate the source.
okay. Well, my learned friends, and many of us, Mr. Just from among the lawyers, and even Mr. Singh, but we have Friday prayers today. We mentioned the system, and a lot of wanted because Friday, unlike the other days, we can pray. This is like the communal prayer where we all have to be in the mosque in good time and to get the khutbah. The khutbah is the Friday sermon. There are several benefits that come with getting the khutbah. But we do not want to miss. I thought my Lord had asked us to forego. When you're involved in a petition like this, you need all the blessings you can get. So. Yes, Lord.
Something between somebody and his maker.
That's true. That's
Or
true.
her maker. The problem I have is that the suggestion came from you and I accepted.
Yes.
If I'm wrong, you can correct me.
Yes, Lord.
You can even tell me I'm a liar.
No, 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 no.
That to this week we are starting from what time to what time?
We were started at 8:30. Maloney were here today, and we were only other than Friday.
No, there was no other. There was
It was
going to, was it 5 or 4:30?
4:30. 4:30.
Yes. So 4:30 is there.
No, 4:30 will come back. Yeah.
My Lord, I think for purposes of expediting the matter, I mean the court has pleadings on record, moving forward so that we can have Storm Nyandra's 7 witnesses together with our 20, and with the limited time we have, perhaps moving forward we can have time allocation for each party. I didn't expect that. So perhaps we can have time allocation for each party on the amount of time they can handle for a witness, so that we can save time and move these proceedings. Everyone has filed their pleadings, so we can move faster.
Well, I understand my friend is doing that in good faith, but they had all the time to cross-examine and harass my witnesses. When the witness is under the cosh, they cannot. He's a chief agent, and this is what actually the longest witness among all the affidavits. Once you cover with him, but Jill West is where our main complaint is. So, Lord, and he's answered very well. Where he can't, he says he throws the ball back to IBC, which is fair. So, my Lord, I think what we're dealing with was the prayer. My Lord, if you'll be very kind, you can come back after our prayers. My Lord, that was my request. I don't know what my friends will say, but in terms of the time limitation, we will finish with your witnesses by Friday. Because by next week on Friday, that we can guarantee the court.
We have to finish before Friday so that we deal with the other application.
Madam,
Yeah, I make submission,
yeah.
oral submissions for a half an hour, and I contribute which one, which side.
Very well.
So we come back at what time?
Hello, we can come back 2:50.
From one.
2:30.
My lord, I'm not lost. I go to church on Saturday, but I think we should be given that allowance. I know some of my clients, including the second respondent, wanted to attend a funeral in the afternoon. He's been in court most of the time. Maybe you can come back to that. That is then without
What time is it now?
is
12:40.
Yeah, because I want to make headway with especially this week.
We'll finish.
I also have some other things
yes. So we can come back.
to do. So Monday.
That's all right.
We have no objection.
Yeah, we can come back at 2:30.
So we come, let's come back at that time. When we come back at let's make some progress.
Yeah, we will. My lord, I'll finish this one. The last 30 minutes.